All right, it's 24th of August. Getting some new shipping containers. Well, they're not new. There is no such thing as a new shipping container. But shipping containers are great for many reasons. One, there's no way animals, mice, or anything else can get in them, which makes them awesome, since when you're storing a car in them and the car's in the shipping container for 6 months, 7 months, you don't come out and have the wiring chewed up or a nest of mice in the exhaust system, anything like that. The other nice thing about shipping containers, along with being waterproof, animal proof, and everything else, is they're not taxable. Yes, you heard me right. They're not secured to the ground, so they're not taxed. If you built a pole barn, they're taxable. So I can store 10 cars in 5 shipping containers, which would take a pretty large pole barn, and it doesn't cost me a dime in terms of taxes. Now, is that a big deal? Not really, but it's fun to think about it. The other advantage of shipping containers is that should I decide to sell them tomorrow, my friend here from MIT Rental, I'm buying them, not renting them, will gladly buy them from me for what I paid. Because they're getting more and more valuable every single year. Yeah. And he is so good. That's a Ford F450. It's like an F350, but it is a much tighter turning circle because the front wheels are wider apart than on a 350. And boy, he can drop these things in. It's amazing. Yeah, he's really good. He's delivered my other 3 containers. Kline's considered the top of the line, so I'll be back. So you see the bricks on the rear. And the idea there is to keep the container from sitting directly on the ground. Even though it's gravel, which drains well, you want to keep it elevated so air circulates underneath the container. You never want a container sitting directly on the ground with mud and water and moisture, because they tend to have wood floors. And the wood floor will then absorb the moisture and it will penetrate into the container, which is never a good thing. The drier the better, which is all good. And you can see the skill at which this is being laid down. He's got a remote control in his hand. He was telling me a story about how somebody triggered it with a garage door opener, and he got the surprise of his life when it started being tilted up like you see it, and he didn't expect it. He apparently was also driving through a community near some sort of bridge, and the container started to tilt down. Yeah, he's been doing this, I think he said, for 25 years. Oh God, is he the master? Look at that. He's just the master. And like I said before, the Kline's considered the top of the line container. It's what he had left. Because you may or may not know this, but containers are very hard to get right now. They're being shipped back empty to wherever they came from, mainly China, so that they can put more stuff in it, because of course the United States and the Western world is very consumer oriented, and the end result is more containers come with stuff than go anywhere else loaded. So very lucky to get these containers. Oh yeah, putting one up in front, that's great. So I always had a good relationship with this guy. Like I said, he brought me my first 3 containers. And then there's a video showing Brian, a friend of mine, painting them, which was great. Helps keep the obvious color difference between the surroundings not so apparent from the street, because the tan ones sort of blend in with the environment here, relatively so, when you compare it to the red. The red sticks out obviously like a sore thumb. I found out that green is actually used apparently by Disney they'll paint some utilities boxes green because all the other bright colors in Disney make that light green, jade green, invisible. I will have to pay attention next time I visit Disney and see if that in fact is a true statement. It makes sense. But like I was saying, we painted that tan over there so it wouldn't stick out like a sore thumb. Even though we're a good 400 or 500 people on the road, I always like to be nice to my neighbors and not have things look trashy and weird. Because I live around some good people here. So look at the quality of that placement. Yeah. And now he's putting it in the front as well. I've only had blocks in the rear, but now that I'm learning something every day. And the container's down. Houston, we have landed. All right. So he's gonna go off and get me another set. Another one, not a set. Yep. Oh yeah, baby. That's gonna be sweet. Got a couple of cars in there. Store them for 6, 7, 8 months. Because car storage, at least in Wisconsin, is about $150 a month. So if you have cars that you're going to store on a regular basis, these things pay for themselves in a couple of years. And like I said before, they also are easily resaleable.